What's up, guys? Powerbang here, and I'm bringing to you a special episode. We're calling this the Never Miss with Lightning Ever Again episode. How many times have you guys had the clan castle emptying on you, approaching your kill squad, you drop the lightning spell with the intention of killing that pesky witch, and you just flat out miss? I've got a solution to take care of that so that you can start dropping your lightning spells with precision and never miss that stupid witch again. Get her taken out, get to the meat of your raid. I'm going to show you in this video how exactly to make that happen so that you start hitting what you want to hit with your lightning spells during your war raid. So let's go ahead and take a peek over at the goblin maps, and I'll show you exactly how this technique is done. So here we are in one of the goblin maps, Point Man, and I like this map simply because it's got a little bit of open space here and a tombstone that we're going to use to illustrate the actual drop locations for each bolt of lightning. Now, the lightning bolt pattern is dependent upon the order of the spells that you're dropping from your army camps, basically. So the first spell that you drop, if it's a lightning, it has a particular pattern. The second spell that you drop, if that's a lightning, it has a different pattern. The third spell has an entirely different pattern from the first two. So let's go ahead and take a look at 4 lightning spells here, and we'll figure out exactly what the patterns are. So here's the first one. We're going to line up our pointer here right between the 2 X's. We'll go ahead and drop that. And so 6 bolts come down, and you see exactly where those are. And I will go ahead and, mark those up in a graphic as we compare this towards the end. So the second one, we're going to look at number 2 here. Notice the bolt pattern here. It's different from the first, and it's got, a very distinct pattern, and we'll go ahead and compare these in a graphic at the end. The third one, now this one is going to be in a V shape. So we'll click that between the 2 X's again. And look at that, a little A or a V. So, it just depends on the order here. Now, the fourth one, if we use a lightning spell as our 4th spell, an entirely different pattern altogether. So, this is a very interesting illustration, guys. This will help to ascertain where exactly those bolts of lightning that were seemingly random in the past. It's going to help out the targeting of, say, the enemy clan castle witch. So if you end up having a witch come out of the clan castle and you want to get her target, how many times have you seen the lightning spell come down, you drop a zap seemingly right on top of the pile, and 6 bolts come down, and then everything's dead but the witch? This little piece of information should eliminate that. Let's go ahead and look at the actual bolt patterns of each one of these lightning strikes. So check out the graphic here, and we're going to do a comparison, and I will show you each of the bolts in the order that they drop, and that way you can kind of gauge where you should drop your lightning spell in relation to the troops that you want to take out that are pouring out of the clan castle. So in the on-screen graphic, you're going to see each of the first 4 strike patterns for the lightning spell. Now, depending on the order in which you drop your lightning spell during the raid, it will have a predetermined strike pattern. If your lightning spell is the first spell that you drop, the strike pattern will be the spell number 1 graphic on the screen. Now, if the lightning spell is the second spell that you drop, the strike pattern is going to be spell number 2 on your screen. The same goes for spell number 3 and 4. If a lightning spell is the 3rd or the 4th spell that you'll use during your raid, the strike pattern will be identical to what is shown on the screen in the spell number 3 and spell number 4 boxes. So, how does this apply for war? Well, first you got to ask, what is a lightning spell most commonly used for? Number 1 is taking out the air defense building at Town Hall 7. Now, a lot of you guys are higher than Town Hall 7, and that doesn't apply. And for those at Town Hall 7, it also doesn't apply because you're still going to need 3 lightning spells to take out that air defense. The next thing that the lightning spell is most commonly used for is killing the clan castle troops. And we're going to use the knowledge that we learn in this video to help us more effectively remove those clan castle troops during the luring process. Now, the most important troop to kill during the CC lure is almost always the witch, if there is a witch in the clan castle. If a witch is allowed to stand behind the other clan castle troops and even maybe a wall, it can endlessly spawn skeletons that not only damage your troops but completely slow up and shut down your raid because of the distractions that those skeletons provide. So it's going to be very important that you understand pre-raid. So before you start your raid, in your scouting process, you need to understand in which order your lightning spell is going to be deployed so that you know where to place it when the clan castle troops are approaching your kill squad. Now, nearly always, the lightning spell will be the first or the second spell used in your spell order. If there's no need for a jump spell and you're using wall breakers to allow your golem and kill squad or maybe golem and heroes to break into the base to access the archer queen and a secondary objective, whether that's an air defense or a giant bomb set, you will likely use the lightning spell to kill the clan castle, before you use any other spell. So it's going to be the first one you use. In this scenario, you've got to be prepared to anticipate the strike pattern located in the spell number 1 graphic on your screen. Now, if you're taking a jump spell with you in order to access the queen position or whatever secondary you're trying to accomplish, you're likely going to be using the lightning spell second and therefore must anticipate the strike pattern in spell number 2 on the screen. So ideally, you're going to wait for the clan castle troops to bunch up and come to a halt before you drop your lightning spell, and this way you don't have to worry about hitting a moving target. You'll then target your lightning spell so that at least 2 of the bolts will strike the intended target to kill it. With spell number 1, the strike pattern is a little bit more flexible as there are 3 distinct groups of 2. If you want to make it very easy, you can drop the spell almost directly on the target but skew it slightly to the right, and this way bolts number 1 and number 4 will take out the target. The more reliable kill will come from bolts 3 and 5 because they're closer together. However, it's not close enough to really make too much of a difference, and it's going to take some practice to aim your spell a little bit slightly low and to the left of your intended target. Now notice the shift in the red X graphic that indicates the ground zero target, I guess, where you drop that first bolt of lightning. To include the widest margin of error, if lightning is indeed spell number 1 in your spell order, it is probably going to be best to drop your spell on top of the intended target as bolts number 2 and number 6, and then also number 3 and number 5 will land on either side of the target. That gives you the best chance of success in case you miss a little bit, and then also in case you skew it too far. So if your lightning spell happens to be the number 2 spell, so the second spell in your spell drop order, and you've already utilized, say, a jump spell to access the inside portion of the base before the CC lure happens, you're going to want to take note of spell strike pattern number 2 on your screen, most specifically bolts number 3 and 4. The strike pattern for spell 2 is skewed pretty far to the right, which is why on a lot of entries, the witch that you're trying to hit is completely missed. So bolts number 3 and number 4 land nearly in the same spot, so it would be wise to skew your spell deployment location as shown on the graphic a bit higher and to the left of your intended target. This will ensure that the witch or the clan castle grouping will eat both bolts of lightning, and you'll ensure optimal damage is done. So, you've seen the diagrams. Let's go take a look at this stuff in action. So here we are on a war raid example, using Trigger as an example here, and the goal for this base, it's a cold-blooded Laloon. So what he's trying to do is basically drop in a golem and his heroes, wizards to funnel, and he's trying to break into the wall here. The golem's going to be standing in here, and his goal is to take out the air defense and the archer queen. In order to get to that archer queen, though, he's going to have to utilize a jump spell. The jump spell is going to go down here first, and that's going to happen to allow his kill squad and heroes to get into this area. Now, the jump spell goes down first before the clan castle is lured. So after that jump spell goes down, the clan castle gets lured, and they're going to head in towards his kill squad. Now, what does that mean? That means the jump spell goes down first, and that his lightning spell is going to be spell number 2 in his spell order. That means, if you remember the pattern, he is going to have most of his bolt strikes skewed to the right of where the initial bolt is dropped. So let's go ahead, start this raid. I'll go ahead and put it in 2x speed to kind of get through to the point where the lightning spell is dropped. So the golem comes in, wizards come down to help funnel, the jump spell goes down, and at this point, the golem moves in and he's going to start luring the clan castle. Here they come. The king's going to go in and target the queen, and we'll zoom in even more to watch this happen. And he's waiting for the witch and the wizards and everything to bunch up. So in comes the lightning spell. You can kind of see it here. It's going to drop right about here. And if you remember, the spell locations, the initial number 1 is obviously going to be on the X. Number 2 is going to be somewhere over here. Number 3 and 4 are going to be right next to each other right here. Number 5 is going to be lower, and number 6 is going to be up top. Now, none of those are going to hit that witch. So he's going to be out of luck, and that witch is going to survive. All of this stuff that's down here will basically be taken out by the lightning spell. So let's go ahead and watch this come down. You see the bolt pattern come in? And that's what's left, and you'll notice that one of these wizards up top took a couple shots, one on the bottom took 1, the witch took 1, but that wasn't enough to get the kill done. Now, in this particular scenario, the archer queen's going to go ahead and use up her ability, gets that kill taken care of, and that's that. But you'll notice that he did miss the witch with that lightning spell because he had it skewed too far to the right. So in our next example, because 2 is taking on this general base with a Cold Blood Laloon, the goal is to get that golem into the queen compartment. He's going to tank the queen, and because she is accessible via wall breakers, as you can see on the screen, he does not need to use a jump spell. The goal is to take out that air defense as well, kill the queen, and then kill the clan castle troops. The clan castle is going to be coming from down here, and will likely stop on one side or another of this wall here. And because there was no jump spell needed, the lightning spell is going to be the first spell that comes out. And remember, if it's the first spell that you use, you can basically do a direct hit, and 2 of the bolts number 1 and bolts number 4, will take care of right where that spell is dropped, especially if you skew it just a tiny bit to the right of your target. So we'll go ahead and watch this, as because shows us how to do it. The golem comes in, queen is locked on, in come the heroes now, and the queen and the king are going to head in and start taking out this archer queen. As this happens, the clan castle lure is going to start happening, and I'm going to pause it when it gets to the point where those clan castle troops are grouping up. You notice I'm standing right behind the wall here. Witch groups up, and here comes the lightning spell. Now you'll notice he skewed it just to the right of that witch, just like we talked about, and it's going to land right here. So if you remember, in the spell pattern for spell drop number 1, if you drop the lightning spell first in your spell order, you're going to be looking at the initial right where the blue X is. Number 2 will be somewhere over here. Number 3 is going to be up top, probably somewhere in this area. Number 4 is going to be right next to the first one, on top of where the witch is standing. Number 5 will be up by number 3, and then number 6 will be down here. So there's 3 groups of 2. We'll go ahead and play this now, and we'll see if the job gets done on that witch. So the 1st and the 4th bolts there take it out almost entirely. Clan castle completely gone. So that is the proper way to kill in a war raid with the lightning spell. If it's the first spell you use, go ahead and drop it directly on top of the witch. If it's the second spell used, make sure you skew it up and to the right of where you want to drop it. Up and to the left, excuse me. If you do that, the 3rd, 4th, and the 2nd bolts that come down are going to have a much better shot at taking out that witch. So hopefully this has been informative, guys. Remember, I did not do all of the research for this particular topic. This came from our good friends over at Hebrew Legends. Feel free to check out their YouTube channel. I've got it in my description below. Give them a subscribe. They're deserving. Highly recommend the channel. They've got some really, really high quality stuff over there. They're just not as well known yet. So props to them for uncovering this method, but I wanted to kind of bring it to you guys, maybe bring some updated illustrations and kind of show you side-by-side comparisons of the spell drop patterns, and you know, that's that. So hopefully this has been informative, guys. Really appreciate the you know, support here. Best of luck in your future raids, and hopefully you're not missing witches anymore during the lure process. I know that's been frustrating for me, and you can check our recent war recaps, and you'll see that there's a lot of witches that have been missed. And you know, sometimes it doesn't make a big difference, and that archer queen will quickly take out the witch because the skeletons have all died. But other times it makes a huge difference, and that witch sits back and has a chance to spawn more skeletons. It can greatly delay that raid and cause you to actually fail. So it's a big deal. Adjust your lightning spells accordingly. Best of luck. This is Powerbang. I'm signing out.